Get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
WOCA.
Gene Powell Pasture.
Veterans helping veterans.
352
USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Bob Wine says, don't hunker down. Come on down to Ocala's gorgeous 5-acre outdoor fresh air camellia garden. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens on Southeast 38th Street. In this paradise, you'll experience one of Florida's outstanding free attractions, hundreds of trees, thousands of multicolored blooms, including many rare and exotic specimens you've never experienced. While you're there, take a look at some terrific ideas for greening up your home and your yard this spring. Here's an example, a gorgeous selection of everybody's favorite geraniums. They're regularly $2.99, but you get 10 for $19.99. Logos? Yes, buy one, get one on blueberries, on plumbago, on hydrangea, and even on arborvitae. Come on down and check out the deals. This is where you want to be for spring. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Open daily till 4:30 on Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, in the same blooming place since 1952.
When you see the Mike Scott Plumbing truck, you know that experienced certified technicians are on the job. Mike Scott Plumbing has the equipment and expertise to handle any size septic job, residential and commercial. From pumping septic tanks to installing new tanks and drain fields. When you want the job done right the first time, then the first call you need to make is to Mike Scott Plumbing. Mike Scott Plumbing is locally owned and operated since 1987, so you get the quality you expect at the price you deserve. If water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing.
Sunny and warm today with a high of 86 to 89. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 63. Tomorrow, sunshine and warm, high 87 to 89. Sunday and Monday, partly sunny and warm, high Sunday 85 to 89, high Monday 86 to 89. Tuesday, clouds and sunshine, high 82 to 84. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Brian May.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
WOCA.
Ocala, quick minute news. Another jump in Florida's coronavirus cases, now up to 432 and 9 deaths. Orlando-based Darden restaurants now say it's an emergency plan to pay all of its workers, even though many of their restaurants will shut down.
By using a line of credit, the company will soon have about $1 billion in emergency money available. The company's brands include Olive Garden, Capitol Grill, Seasons 52, Bahama Breeze, and Longhorn Steakhouse. Earlier this month, Darden also set up a paid sick leave program. Larry Spillman, Orlando.
This could be the last day to enjoy the surf in Pinellas County. County announced yesterday it's closing all public beaches, effective tomorrow until April 6th. Clearwater Beach had originally planned to close Monday, but it will close after today. For your Ocala Quick Minute News, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
This is Jan from Palm Garden, and March 30th is Doctors' Day. We are so grateful for the tireless dedication and professionalism of all the doctors we work with. I'd like to single out our medical directors, Alfonso, Martinez, and Sid Clevenger, and our attending physicians, Doctors Kidambi, Panchel, and Siva, for their ongoing service to our precious residents. Join me in wishing all the fine doctors of Ocala and Marion County a happy Doctors' Day on March 30th, and thank you from Palm Garden.
Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Howdy, folks. RL here to tell you about Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen Silver Springs has been serving yummy foods and ice cream made fresh to order for 46 years. Their gift cards are perfect for those you love for any occasion. Our ice cream cakes are awesome. And as far as grilled foods, DQ does it right. From grilled chicken to our famous foot-long chili dogs. So come on down to Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
We are proud to announce the Conservative Watch Hour on WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM every Friday at 11 a.m. Hosted by Annie Marie Delgado, President of Trump Team 2020 Florida, and her co-host Ann Vandersteel with SteelTruth.com. We are serving a higher level of excellence, and we are the only program of this type in this market. Don't miss your weekly dose of conservative talk radio. WOCA 11 a.m. Fridays, 96.3 and 1370 a.m.
Pals Ocala Auto Repair fixes all makes and models. Pals makes sure that your vehicle's engine, mechanical, and electrical components are healthy at all times. Pals team would much rather see you drive to their shop for a full checkup than be towed in for a complex repair. Give Pals a call today to schedule your next service appointment. 352-414-2984. What? A nationwide warranty, 36 months or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first? Pals looks forward to servicing you and servicing your vehicle. 352-414-2984.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Buying and selling? Then you know about OcalaForSale.com, Marion County's internet marketplace. But there's something you might not know. I'm Michael Warren, president of USA for Sale. We created Ocala for Sale in 1998 with a passion to connect buyers and sellers and to help local businesses reach shoppers online. On Ocala for Sale, you're just a click away from thousands of deals for real estate, rentals, cars, furniture, appliances, horses, pets, and more. Looking for a job? Our Help Wanted section is booming. Shopping the Villages and beyond? Now you'll find great deals on Villages for Sale, as well as our new statewide classified, Florida for Sale. Log on today and post your free classified. You'll reach thousands of shoppers who check our listings every day. Are you a business looking to get a corner on the internet marketplace? USA for Sale can help you reach your target audience in Ocala, the Villages, and statewide. There's no better place to reach shoppers than right where they shop. Let us show you how. Learn more by calling 352-629-1663 or visit us online at usaforsale.com.
The Centers is open for services. They can provide telehealth services via iPhone or Android cell phone or computer. Please call them at 352-291-5555.
Listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA The Source. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We've made it to Friday, the end of the week. Listening to 96.3 FM, 1370 AM The Source. We are broadcasting to you live from the Paddock Mall, streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA The Source Radio. As it's now our segment with News Bits, as we're now 20 minutes before the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Bits of news that we can chew here. This one's pretty interesting here out of Marion County. Close to us. Marion County distillers turn alcohol into hand sanitizer. This is a pretty good one. It says Fishhawk Spirits and James Two Brothers Distillers join other distillers around the country producing hand sanitizer in the face of shortages. As hand sanitizer supplies locally and across the country vanish due to the high demand in the midst of COVID-19, at least 2 Marion County distillers plan on buying a round on the house. Fishhawk Spirits and James Two Brothers Distillers are joining alcohol distillers across the country using their alcohol to make hand sanitizer, and the 2 independent craft distillers plan to give it away for free. As they said, has thousands of gallons of highly concentrated alcohol available as a part of the distilling process, and the first portion of alcohol produced is not as palatable and also includes toxins. And for us, it's a waste product, so why not use it to help our friends within the community? It's something people need right now, so why not? Bogdanovich said. The Fishhawks, Matthew Bogdanovich, is mentioned. It says here, there is a time and place for commerce. When your friends and neighbors have a need, that's not the place for commerce. Both men said that they plan to absorb any of the expense for the bottles and the glyco and the aloe extract to make and distribute the gel. Bogdanovich said he should have his first batch finished within a couple days. James said it will take at least a week for the first batch. They plan to offer it to local institutions and make it available to the public. And as of Thursday afternoon, the Florida Department of Health reported 420 cases of COVID-19 within the state, now up to 432. While Marion County remains free of any confirmed cases, the Department of Health has conducted 35 tests with 24 negative and 11 pending the results. So that's interesting, something local to us. Fishhawk Spirits and 2 James Brothers Distillers taking the initiative to provide more hand sanitizer, nonetheless. There you go. As we roll right along here, it says, fact check. Can Trump use the Stafford Act to order a national mandatory 2-week quarantine? It says here that a recent viral post on Facebook claims the President of the United States would enact a mandatory quarantine using a law called the Stafford Act. The president will evoke what is called the Stafford Act. Facebook user Jasmine Morgan wrote on March 16th, the president will order 2-week mandatory quarantine for the nation. Morgan also stated that the information came from sources within the military. The post had been shared more than 400 times. USA Today reached out to Morgan about her post, but she did not respond to multiple messages. And similar Facebook posts, as well as viral WhatsApp and text messages, have echoed the rumor. The claims in the message are not true. President Donald Trump already used the Stafford Act to declare a national emergency on March 13th before the viral post was made. More importantly, the Stafford Act does not allow the federal government to impose mandatory quarantines. As it says here, to the idea that the declaration of emergency allows the federal government to waive certain regulations on healthcare providers so that the resources can be deployed faster. On March 13th, Trump declared a national emergency under the 1988 Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act. Under the Stafford Act, about $40 billion from the Federal Emergency Management Agency can be used by the federal government to fight coronavirus pandemics. The power is, again, derived from the Stafford Act, which was enacted by Congress to ensure that states would have a way of signaling for aid from the federal government in times of crisis. When it was signed into law, the Stafford Act was mainly intended to address crises like crop failures or natural disasters, such as earthquakes and hurricanes. And a state's governor must request a Stafford Act declaration for it to take effect. Washington Governor Jay Inslee requested the White House declare a national emergency on March 12th to make the Stafford Act funds available. The Stafford Act does not allow the federal government to directly intervene in the crisis response at state, local, tribal governments. Through it provides considerable resources, though, to help them. Text messages and social media posts to the contrary, however, caught the attention of the administration, and the National Security Council tweeted on March 15th that in an attempt to dispel rumors circulating that online, it says the text message rumors of the national, quote, hashtag quarantine are fake. It says there is no national lockdown. And that's what the National Security Council had posted. It says, while the Stafford Act does not give the federal government the sweeping authority to quarantine the nation, it's less clear if it's legal impossibility. Other laws and statutes give the federal government, and specifically the president, a range of powers. None, however, explicitly grants the power to quarantine the country for 2 weeks. The Congressional Research Service, a federal agency dedicated to the research and analysis and support of Congress, published a set of guidelines on federal and state authority regarding quarantines in 2014. In it, the CRS found that the federal government constitutional authorities in times of health crisis come from the Commerce Clause of the Constitution, which governs the interstate commerce. So in a way, a lot of the things that Galen presses on about the idea of federal government with a recommendation to shut things down in lieu of the spread of, and mentioning quarantine and all that stuff is in a way, as they're coming here with the expectations of where this article comes into the idea of how the expectations would be to a mandatory quarantine that would be proposed and then sought after and set out and then upheld by the military is actually false. It says, we rate the claim that Trump will invoke the Stafford Act to order a national mandatory 2-week quarantine false because it's not supported by the research. The president arguably considered authority in times of national crisis. Specific powers granted by the Stafford Act, however, do not provide the president or the federal government the authority to order a national quarantine. It is unclear if such power is provided by federal laws, but current laws and the constitutional scheme, which reserves certain powers for the states, suggests that the power to order quarantines is left to the state, local, and tribal authorities. As all that came through, fact checks, of course, with everything there. So that's a little something interesting nonetheless, as we can hear and read about, the expectations of everything coming along with now, like we said, kind of getting into the thick of it with COVID-19 and the expectations of social distancing and all that good stuff, that there would be like a national lockdown quarantine is actually unconstitutional. As it was going around that was going to be the expectations, and then that was going to be enforced by military, as tweeted by that one girl as reported false. So there you go. As it says here, this is one that was interesting, as we've talked a little bit within the idea during the week that the federal government has worked in lieu of a stimulus package to kind of bail out us, if you will, for the expectations of giving us what was rumored to be somewhere between the amounts of $1,000 to $2,500 for most Americans, tax-paying Americans. And it says what Florida financial assistance is available to those who are affected by coronavirus. It says what Florida financial assistance is available to those affected. And with that, it said here, and there was something to read that I had been laid on my desk here overnight. It says, in case of anyone who needs this, it says United Way has a COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund. They will help with bills, rent, and food. And with that, you can actually call them. You can call them at 1-866-211-9966 and provide the zip code, and they will be given a list of local agencies that can provide assistance in lieu of the United Way having an economic relief fund. And that comes into what Florida financial assistance is available for those affected by the virus and what are those informations to be contacted by. They say here a Florida Department of Economic Opportunity is home to the Reemployment Assistance Service Center. It is here that people can apply for benefits. The service is set up to provide, quote, temporary wage replacement to those who meet the eligibility requirements according to the website. Here is who's eligible to receive state assistance. Those are who are quarantined by a medical professional or a government agency, those who are laid off or sent home without pay for an extended period of time by their employer due to COVID-19 concerns, those who are caring for immediate family members who are diagnosed with COVID-19. And to find out if you are eligible, they say visit the Florida Jobs website, floridajobs.org. Amongst the floridajobs.org, once you have that, they've got a streamline here listed on the website of where you can find out more information if you qualify, and where you can register for the full application and everything else. So there is, you got to look for it. That's part of what we're doing here to give you that information between what is here with the floridajobs.org/reemployment. That's floridajobs.org/reemployment for some assistance, financial assistance in lieu of COVID-19. And then also what's been presented with, in case anyone needs this, of course, United Way. It says the United Way has a COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund, and that will help with bills, rent, and food, right straight to the point as they get to it here, that you can call 1-866-211-9966 and provide the zip code, and we'll be given a list of local agencies that can provide some assistance. Hashtag repost. And that comes from the United Way in lieu of COVID-19. Again, that number 1-866-211-9966. So I think I think a little bit of the misconception is that there is some money out there. Maybe have to do just a little bit of research and work to figure out what can be done. And there are some two entities right there. So the United Way Economic Relief Fund with 1-866-211-9966, and then the floridajobs.org/reemployment assistance. And that's two good things there to take from it and go with it. As we move on with news bits, now just getting a little bit, if you will, to the side here. It says within our community, man jailed after victim claims he pointed gun at him at Ocala motel. It says Evanston man was jailed Monday morning on a multiple charge after the Marion County Sheriff's deputies stopped him at gunpoint in the parking lot at the Queen's Gardens Resort Motel. Deputies responded to the motel located at 3340 South Pine in Ocala after receiving a call about possible carjackings in progress. The caller reported that the suspect, later identified as 57-year-old Essel Stevens, was driving a white Hyundai Elantra. He said that he saw the incident take place in the parking lot of the motel while driving to work and turned around so he could take photographs of the incident and the vehicle's license tag, a sheriff's report states. The caller said Stevens then ran to the vehicle's trunk, pulled out what believed to be a silver firearm, and said, "You want some of this too, cracker?" The caller added that he was in fear when the firearm was pointed at him and he fled, the report says. I'm not going to read that quote again, by the way. The caller added that he was in fear when the firearm was pointed at him and he fled, the report says. Deputies stopped Stevens' Hyundai in the parking lot of the motel. He threw out a toy gun and was detained along with his passenger. A sheriff's lieutenant reported seeing a glass tube with a white residue that had tested positive for cocaine on the inner driver's side door, as well as a large knife between the driver's seat and console. And it says here, Stevens admitted to being in an argument with a man in the motel's parking lot. He said he uses cocaine in the clear tube with the white residue was indeed a crack pipe, the report says, adding that he would not admit to pulling a toy gun on anyone. Computer search revealed that Stevens had been issued a trespass warning from the motel on February 5th. He was taken into custody and transported to Marion County Jail, where he was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without the intent to kill and trespassing in possession of drug equipment. He was being held on $7,000 bond and is due in court April 21st at 9 a.m. pending. As that's a little interesting, a little toy gun. Was it a cap gun? It was a silver gun, but nonetheless, once pointed at you, it feels threatening. The Silver Springs sex offender charged with strangling a woman and ramming her car. Registered sex offender from Silver Springs was arrested Monday for allegedly strangling a woman, intentionally backing his truck into her vehicle during an argument over the weekend. Christopher Lawrence Jones, 38, was charged with domestic battery by strangulation and criminal mischief with property damage of more than $1,000 or more. Marion County jail records show that Jones had been arrested 10 times since 2006, and he's enlisted in the FDLE sex offender registry after being convicted of an unlawful sexual activity with a minor in 2012. Marion County's sheriff's deputy who responded to the incident, which happened Saturday, was unable to determine the primary aggressor because both parties had invisible injuries. The detective who reviewed the body cam footage and the extent of the victim's injuries determined that there was probably a cause to arrest Jones, according to the sheriff's report. As it come through, Jones was arrested and taken to Marion County Court Jail, where he was released Tuesday on $10,000 bond. He will appear on April 21st in court. That's interesting. As we make our way towards the top of the 9 o'clock hour, as we do, a little bit more to talk about nonetheless. You're listening to 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Stay tuned for us. We got a good rest of the show for today as we wind out the work week here and get you started for the weekend. And with that, we'll have more potpourri topics. And if you'd like to give us a call as well, 622-9622. Phone lines will be open, and give us a call and keep the conversation rolling as it is TGIF, as it is Friday, nonetheless. And remember, we are streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio. And as we make our way, one more reminder, too, for those with the need of assistance, and this was one to keep repeating that I will talk about through the day. This is in case anyone needs this. The United Way has a COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund. They will help with bills, rent, and food. And you can give them a call at 1-866-211-9966. Provide your zip code, and we'll be given a list of local agencies to help provide for some of the assistance in lieu of being out of work in this time with COVID-19. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source, and we'll be back right after this. WOCA, Ocala.
I'm Chris Foster. There are now more than 14,000 cases of coronavirus in the United States, 205 deaths. There are negotiations at the Capitol today on a financial relief bill.
The $1 trillion stimulus plan includes checks for Americans, $1,200 per adult and $500 per child, subject to income limits. It also includes billions in emergency loans for the airline industry and tax breaks for businesses.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. More people have now died with the virus in Italy than any other country.
Italy reporting another 427 deaths from the new coronavirus, taking its total to more than 3,400. That's more fatalities than have been reported in China, the original epicenter, and a country with a population 20 times larger.
Fox's Simon Owen. All Americans are advised by the State Department to avoid international travel. Americans out of the country now are warned to return now or prepare to remain out of the country indefinitely. America's listening to Fox News.
It may not be stomach issues,
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hey, this is Matt from Crossroad Auto Sales. I want to invite you to come over and check out our vehicles. All of our vehicles at Crossroad Auto Sales go through a rigorous 100-point safety inspection. We work with most outside finance companies, and we even have in-house financing available. Stop by today at 1800 Northwest 10th Street or give me a call at 690-6695. That's 690-6695. Crossroad Auto Sales. We won't leave you stranded at the crossroad.
When you see the Mike Scott Plumbing truck, you know that experienced certified technicians are on the job. Mike Scott Plumbing has the equipment and expertise to handle any size septic job, residential and commercial. From pumping septic tanks to installing new tanks and drain fields. When you want the job done right the first time, then the first call you need to make is to Mike Scott Plumbing. Mike Scott Plumbing is locally owned and operated since 1987, so you get the quality you expect at the price you deserve. If water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing.
Sunny and warm today with a high of 86 to 89. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 63. Tomorrow, sunshine and warm, high 87 to 89. Sunday and Monday, partly sunny and warm, high Sunday 85 to 89, high Monday 86 to 89. Tuesday, clouds and sunshine, high 82 to 84. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Brian May.
More information. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
WOCA.
Ocala, quick minute news. Another jump in Florida's coronavirus cases, now up to 432 and 9 deaths. Orlando-based Darden restaurants now say it's an emergency plan to pay all of its workers, even though many of their restaurants will shut down.
By using a line of credit, the company will soon have about $1 billion in emergency money available. The company's brands include Olive Garden, Capitol Grill, Seasons 52, Bahama Breeze, and Longhorn Steakhouse. Earlier this month, Darden also set up a paid sick leave program. Larry Spillman, Orlando.
This could be the last day to enjoy the surf in Pinellas County. County announced yesterday it's closing all public beaches, effective tomorrow until April 6th. Clearwater Beach had originally planned to close Monday, but it will close after today. For your Ocala Quick Minute News, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
And now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
This is Jan from Palm Garden, and March 30th is Doctors' Day. We are so grateful for the tireless dedication and professionalism of all the doctors we work with. I'd like to single out our medical directors, Alfonso Martinez and Sid Clevenger, and our attending physicians, Doctors Kidambi, Panchel, and Siva, for their ongoing service to our precious residents. Join me in wishing all the fine doctors of Ocala and Marion County a happy Doctors' Day on March 30th, and thank you from Palm Garden.
Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
The Centers is open for services. They can provide telehealth services via iPhone or Android cell phone or computer. Please call them at 352-291-5555.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. And we just finished up there before the 9 o'clock hour. Bits of news that you can chew, a little bit of news bits. And now I've got Martin Suter in the studio. Good. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Good morning, everybody.
Good. All right, my friend. Well, a lot happened this so-called weekend with race day. We talked a little bit before it happening, and then we had like one full day Sunday of pre-race, and then rain, and then Monday is when they continued that for 4 o'clock, and then it had a wild finish.
It did have a wild finish. Yeah, I think I told you last week that we went for almost like 15 years in a row, and one of my more vivid memories was. My wife and I actually call him Flying Ryan Newman because he seemed to always go upside down, but I can't remember the year. It was probably late 90s, and it was on the front stretch, and I mean, he must have rolled 8 or 10 times, and the axle came out of the car, and it was just... She grabbed my arm the whole time, and he jumped right out of that car, that day.
Yeah.
So I know he's a tough guy, but I can't believe that he walked out of that hospital.
Yeah. So going in, was it Monday night, with what they were considering to maybe have severe injuries, non-life-threatening. As he was a ball of flame scooting across the finish line.
Not just that, but got hit right in the door.
Yeah. And come away with then, by Wednesday, which was 2 days ago, walking out of the hospital with his daughters. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed he'd have some broken limbs at minimum, because they got them tucked in there pretty good these days, with their necks and shoulders and stuff, but your arms and legs are still...
And I was watching something. What was I watching? I can't remember, but it's not necessarily like, all right, yeah, you're like in that seat and everything, you got the helmet, you got the suit on and everything, but it's when you look at his wreck with the crash, it's how hard you get jostled. Like it doesn't matter, but just the amount of energy taken all over at so many points when you're rolling and grinding and sliding and on fire. Yeah. That's what's the incredible part is just how much, like you're in a steel cage, you're getting rattled around. I know you're strapped in there tight, but geez, there's only so much that the energy can be taken by the body, but he absorbed it, and there you go. 2 days later, he's walking out of the hospital as if it was just like...
I was impressed, obviously, but and happy. So
now, do you think what kind of effect does that have on his season in lieu of maybe coming back this season or just retiring.
It might affect more than a season.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, like I said to you, I've seen them roll over and do just about the same thing except the fire,
Yeah.
And
now, were you surprised by who won? Denny Hamlin?
not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
Really.
I know it's 2 in a row, and I think it's 3 out of the last 5 at Daytona. So
and that's number 4 for Daytona 500s for racing owner Joe Gibbs, which is incredible.
Right.
And man, that not only in his football career as head coach, but now doing what he does, man, it's awesome. It's awesome.
He obviously inspires people.
Yeah. With that said, partner, we've got you on every Friday like we do to talk about new technology information. And we've been talking, because I think it was last week, can't remember which day it was, but another Falcon 9 rocket had been launched in order to release more of the Starlink satellites.
Yep.
And you said you did a little homework on
I did a little boning up on it. I said I was going to try to do that. So anyway, it appears that there's already over 300 of them up there.
Is that right? Wow.
Which is a minor.
Wow.
They're wanting to shoot a rocket almost every 2 weeks all year.
Is that right?
And their goal is 16,000 of these satellites up there, and within the next year, and they want to get up to 42,000 of these satellites up there. And it is not for 5G from everything I've read.
Okay.
Which surprises me, but I have seen nothing about the 5G content. There will be some K-band, C-band, which is what we deal with here and in the television world.
Okay. Yep.
But mostly, unfortunately, I guess their intent is to put broadband internet where, well, at first they're saying they want to put it where you can't get it, right? And but the second paragraph also states that they will, obviously be putting it in urban areas also.
Gotcha.
And basically expect the broadband internet part of all this project to kind of pay for the rest of it, because there's going to be like 3 groups of these things floating around out there. And again, I believe, your radio television is one of the groups, and they're going to be at kind of different heights and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then,
interesting.
Yeah, and then also the 2 we talked about, but the third one is there are dead spots during hurricane season, as we all know, and supposedly they're going to be able to even move these things and use them to track hurricanes better than we have in the past.
Incredible.
Yeah, so that's what I've read about it so far. It seems pretty, it is a subsidiary of SpaceX.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Man, is there room for eventually? Would you say 42,000?
42,000. I don't.
So if we send a manned rocket ship up, how do we avoid those things going through the atmosphere and then eventually being out in inner orbit?
I'll leave that up to the experts, man. I don't know.
Yeah, but, I guess so. That's nuts.
But apparently most of this stuff is approved, at least up to the 16,000 anyway. And they've got schedules of the launches. It's it's a pretty deluxe article I was reading, but they got serious plans.
Now, let's see here. I think I wanted to look this up one time before, but just exactly how big are these Starlink?
Yeah, I didn't get into that. I know I think we looked at it on the computer last week.
Starlink, let's see.
And,
how big?
What they did say is they're using a xenon or some kind of a gas for the thrusters. They say that it's more corrosive, and it wasn't necessarily better than the other option, the standard electrical type option, but it was much cheaper, I guess, as far as moving them around.
Okay.
Thrusters and stuff. So
yeah, that makes sense.
And if you're going to have that many of them, I guess cheaper isn't always bad.
Let's see here. It says provided satellite internet access. Constellation will consist of thousands of these mass-produced small satellites working in combination with ground transceivers.
Yeah.
And SpaceX also plans to sell some of the satellites to the military for scientific or exploratory purposes.
Right.
Let's see.
Yeah, they said it's going to be an array, a square antenna at the house with about the size of a pizza box is what they said. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, as far as the actual satellite, I mean, if you got 60 of them in one rocket, they can't be very darn big.
Yeah. They say here that in practice, current satellites have Starlink satellites would orbit at 1/30th to 105 of the height of geostationary type orbits, and thus offer more practical Earth to satellite.
Yeah, in essence,
Earth to sat latencies from 25 to 35 milliseconds.
In essence, they're needing to make them much lower so that, like they just said, the ping, the lag time would be in the 25, 35 millisecond range. Right now, it's in, I guess, 500 or 600 milliseconds, which they are milliseconds, but in my system there at HOT, at Homeland Optical Technology, my average ping is about 9 milliseconds.
Okay.
So it's not quite up to my standards, but 25 is good enough, especially if it's coming from the satellite. So
yeah,
it's not much lag time.
Size of Starlink. I'm going to type it in a little bit different. Each satellite is the size of a table and includes a reflective solar panel. So about the size of basically what they're describing here is like a coffee table.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was going to say, well, this table's pretty big.
Yeah, this table's pretty big.
But,
like a coffee table.
A coffee table, yeah. I can...
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, again, most of that, because it looked like a kind of a pipe, cylindrical, gadget, but I bet you most of it is... And obviously, it probably folds up until they deploy it, and that comes out, for your array.
Yeah, it's kind of neat how they even show within the Falcon 9 rocket, they've got them folded up in the very top nose cone there. Yeah, interesting stuff. Well, I guess that's where we're at now, right?
I assumed it was for 5G, but there's got nothing about 5G in any of it, so.
Yeah. And we got a caller, and good morning, you're on the air, WOCA with Martin Suter.
Good morning.
Hey, you.
With all those satellites up there, do you think that they're designed to eventually to re-enter and burn up? Because in time, there's going to be so much stuff up there. They're talking like taking people up there for a joyride and that. But you run into something like that, you could be in trouble. But you think that they would be designed in time to re-enter and burn up, and then they wouldn't be there no more?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Because the size of them, nonetheless,
the size, they'll just burn up.
When they're out of use or when they have an issue, they can easily just change its coordinates, drop it in the atmosphere, and it'll completely incinerate.
Yeah,
which is a good thing.
That space station up there must be further away out of the path of all those satellites, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, it's way, way different. They're way up above even the geostationary ones. They're up there.
They're up there, and that's what we were talking about, these being more lower orbit in lieu of being able to give that good ping or signal that's necessary. And, so your ISS is way, way up there. I don't know.
Well, let's just hope that they're designing those satellites to come back and burn up, so we don't have a garbage bucket up there full of them.
Yeah. Again, from what I read, even on the propulsion, it's not a forever thing. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll fall.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Hugh.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it, buddy. And we had another caller there. If you can get a call back. Yeah, not quite. But that's not a bad question. It's like, I think I had asked that to somebody the other day. I was like, hey, them things going to just become garbage up there? Or are they actually going to burn up in the atmosphere? And we got another caller. Good morning. You're on the air. AM Ocala Live. We got Martin Suter. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My thought on that is, you're going to put up enough junk up there orbiting around the Earth now. Right now, they were saying there was some kind of problems with a lot of the older satellites that are no longer used. They're just laying dormant up there, and eventually, I guess, they'll come to Earth. But doesn't that present a problem for launching, unless they have a thing set up like the flight towers have? You stay one direction, you stay at one altitude, another direction, you go to another altitude, so on and so forth.
Yeah, no,
That's
there
the only
is.
thing I can think of is they might have it so these satellites all roam around where it doesn't interfere with Kennedy's Space Center.
Right, and there's more.
You're talking about something traveling 17,000 miles an hour or better.
Right.
And I don't care what you're in, you hit something like that, it's bye-bye.
Sure.
I was just wondering what you guys think about that.
Now, I do know that that they do track. They have the technology that tracks everything that is up there.
Right.
And thanks for the call, partner.
Yeah.
And it's actually along, I think, or one of the places that I know that is designated to is along the Gulf Coast here. There's a restricted airspace that's within the area between Panama City and Destin.
Right.
And we had talked to somebody when I was doing some aerial photography. We had landed at an airport, and we had gotten to know a few guys that we saw on the regular. And but basically, there's an area there that the Air Force actually tracks all that space junk. Now, from what we were told is back in the day, they just kind of left it up there, hoping that eventually, like an orbit elliptically would eventually pull it into the atmosphere and it would burn up. Well, that's taken so long for certain pieces, but they've been tracking the hell out of that for years, and they know there's a lot of junk up there that's expected to do that. The other thing is nowadays, just probably like these things like we're talking about, just to avoid them floating up there forever before entering the atmosphere, they've got a way to say, a self-destruct button, if you will, to just send it flying through the atmosphere to disrupt it. But from what I heard, it's not really. There's still, you're talking where we are, satellites the size of a coffee table. So you're still talking that even if there's, and that made me feel better because you're talking about eventually having about 40,000 of them up there. Yeah. I imagine there's probably a sequence in where they want them and how they want them.
Yeah.
And then with that being said, that still you're talking a lot of sky up there, a lot of room. And with that, but I'm sure it sounds alarming when you think about, man, how much crap is up there.
That would be, back to the question, that would be the scariest part is, when you're, we all know them rockets aren't, they're not the most, solid thing, man. Sometimes they got like an aluminum, it's,
right.
It's, if you hit something, it'd be bad news. The other thing they did mention in that article is that there's so many of them that you would actually see them.
Yeah.
Like stars,
Yeah.
And some of the, tree-hugging type people were worried that it would take away your ability to see the stars. I don't know if it's going to be that bad, but,
Mm-hmm. Now, there was some controversy just lately within that because of, I guess, them trying to do certain things. What did they say down here? Some criticism. A large number of the planned satellites has been met with criticism from the astronomical community because astronomers claim that the number of visible satellites will outnumber visible stars, and that their brightness is both optical and radio wavelength will severely impact the scientific observations. Because the Starlink satellites can autonomously change their orbits, observations cannot be scheduled to avoid them, so to speak. And this came from the International Astronomical Union and National Radio Astronomy Observatory. They've released statements expressing concerns, but it says SpaceX representatives and Elon Musk have claimed that the satellites will have very, very minimal impact. Many professional astronomers have disputed that these claims based on the initial observation of the Starlink satellites on the first launch, because shortly after the deployment from the launch vehicle, in later statements they stated SpaceX will work on reducing the albedo of satellites and the measure of the diffuse reflection of the satellites, and will and provide on-demand orientation adjustments for astronautical experiments if necessary. So they're trying to mitigate the concerns about that by being able to redirect the things when they need to and stuff like it. It's just the way of the future, man. That's just how it is.
I mean, I guess they started with one 30,000 square foot building, ended up 2, and then now it's up to 3. It's just a big, huge building now, I guess, that because you got to figure if they're going to try to throw up 60 every 2 weeks, they got to be mass producing those things.
Right. Yeah, incredible. Incredible. It's something kind of neat that we're paying attention to, just overall, but it's that thing that's there in key technology to push society and human intervention forward. Well, so with that being said, we'll see what actually, I guess right now we're just talking about something that is supposed to help some signal. Going up there, 42,000 of them, but who knows what we could see come from that in the next few years.
Well, there's a lot of places, that rural, that can't get internet, or they can get the satellite internet. Right now, it's HughesNet and stuff, and
right.
There's a lot of lag, and it's not real fast, but you can get it.
Right.
But that's the only way to get it, So, again, I'm fine with that, but my concern is, they're going to be flying over Ocala Palms too. So, you know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
Who knows? The internet. If you can get it wireless, I guess it's a good thing. I don't know. If it's reliable.
As we were talking, Martin Suter in the studio, just talking a little bit about, like we always do every Friday, any new things about technology and so on and so forth. And today we brought up the topic of the Starlink satellites that are being launched from our backyard here at Cape Kennedy with SpaceX. Another thing I want to throw at your partner is, I was saying this morning, since I know you're an outdoorsman as well, is Ron DeSantis announced the 2020 Gulf Red Snapper season, saying June 11th through July 25th.
Yep.
And they're talking about even a possible fall reopening if quota is available.
Right.
They said earlier this month, Florida was delegated authority to manage recreational red snapper harvest from private vessels in Gulf federal waters. And with that being said, quote, Ron DeSantis was pleased to announce that our state's good conservation practices are allowing us to have a 45-day Gulf red snapper season this year.
They didn't throw in the size and the limit?
No, no, they did not. And that's something, for more information, you can contact your Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission.
Right.
But yeah, so that's some good news there. And
it's roughly a 90-mile jaunt out there to get red snapper from the Gulf.
Yeah.
From here. I know you've got Pensacola type routes, and up there it's you can go 10, 12 miles and get into the snapper.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking about. Getting my dad up there and us checking it out this summer to see what we can catch. I said I lived in Florida for 10 years and I still haven't been fishing for red snapper.
Oh,
yet.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I always missed. I think the few times that there was a possibility of going, it was either too early or too late. Of the season itself.
Right.
Yep.
So Joe and I, are working. We've been working on that little bit of skipping that goes on once in a while.
With our satellite feed.
We've tweaked the satellite a couple times. We did it again last night, so we're hoping it's getting a little better. And we've Dan's working on possibly getting a new part, and I want to change a connector out there, and it's basically going to require a cherry picker. So we're going to get on it.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure everything's tight.
I was in Dan's office yesterday, and I heard you guys talking about it, and the idea I think was pretty good. Just get a cherry picker, get it up there, and while it's up there, and do it instead of trying to bring that sucker down. Screw something
Joe
up
was like, "Well, we'll drop it down and put the ladder on the electric box," and I said, "I don't think so." So. Anyway, we are working on it, just to let everybody know. So
So hopefully, for those who listen,
broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Cases of coronavirus in the United States, 205 deaths. There are negotiations at the Capitol today on a financial relief bill.
The $1 trillion stimulus plan includes checks for Americans, $1,200 per adult and $500 per child, subject to income limits. It also includes billions in emergency loans for the airline industry and tax breaks for businesses.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. More people have now died with the virus in Italy than any other country.
Italy reporting another 427 deaths from the new coronavirus, taking its total to more than 3,400. That's more fatalities than have been reported in China, the original epicenter, and a country with a population 20 times larger.
Fox's Simon Owen. All Americans are advised by the State Department to avoid international travel. Americans out of the country now are warned to return now or prepare to remain out of the country indefinitely. America's listening to Fox News.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
And now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online.
This is Jan from Palm Garden, and March 30th